Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing a vinyl update video just showing some records I've amassed over the past couple of months. I think some of this stuff actually goes back to Record Store Day itself, but not actually like Record Store Day finds I've already showed all those. So yeah, got like quite a variety of things here from like some shops in Liverpool, some Scottish like some Scottish like record shops I've been to in around Edinburgh. And then also a couple of things I picked up in New York, when I was over there just a few weeks back, which is some really exciting stuff to show from that. But anyway, we will just now start off with a new release, or a newish release anyway, that came out last month. A new album by Pulp here, a good album here called More here. Real comeback for them, and a really strong record here. I went to see them live. It was the first night of their tour, in Glasgow, and they were incredible. I mean, they're kind of band who, I really like a couple of their 90s albums, but kind of the stuff before and the stuff after I'm maybe not wholly familiar with. But they very much just stuck to the kind of hits that you'd know, but also a lot of the stuff from this album, which is a really strong record. I mean, in terms of the material, it's a really, really good sort of return to form sort of album here for Pulp. Some of my favourites would probably be Spike Island, the main single's great. Grown Ups is fantastic song, that is a great track, which went across live really well. A few slower ones, a few ones that are maybe not 100% grown on me yet, things like Slow Jam and Farmer's Market. But there's enough on here to keep you interested, and it is it is a really solid release here from Pulp. And then picked up at the same time as that on the recommendation of Richard McCook, who again maybe a couple of months back did a ranking of the Echo and the Bunnymen albums, and he put some of their kind of early 2000s work right at the top of his list, and this was one of the albums that he recommended, which was Flowers here, which thankfully a lot of these, or most of these, have been reissued, so this is just the reissue of it, or it might even be the first time the first time it was ever put out on vinyl, this. But this is a great record, very kind of psychedelic sort of vibes to this one here. Really strong record here, originally released 2001, but fantastic record here, from Echo and the Bunnymen. Okay, got a couple of items here I picked up from an Edinburgh record fair. So I got two items here. One quite apt actually, sadly apt, which is the Beach Boys 2020 here. Sadly apt, of course, we lost Brian Wilson over the past couple of weeks. Massive loss to music. What a creative genius he was. And this is their 1969 album here, which was in that period where the Beach Boys were very eclectic, very interesting to follow. I mean, they kind of the aftermath of kind of Smile, and kind of the legends of Brian Wilson there loomed large over them really through this period, but kind of as a kind of public-facing band, he wasn't really in the band at this point. And it's kind of interesting, this album here kind of then finishes with two tracks, Our Prayer and Cabin Essence, which were initially earmarked for the Smile album. So they were still kind of scattering these Brian songs throughout their kind of their output. And this is a good album, even aside from those two songs, this is still a very solid album here. So the Beach Boys 2020 from 1969 there. I also at that record fair picked up this album here by a band who I do hear a lot of hype and that talked about, Violet Femmes here. Now this is not their kind of, they've got sort of a couple of albums, but they've got one which is the standout one, which has got Blister in the Sun, which is their most famous song. I think even if you haven't heard of Violet Femmes, you'll know that song. It's a very iconic song. But this is the album that came out I think after, so this was their second album, 1984 here, and it's very good. It's a very unique album, this. It's kind of punky, but it's quite folky as well. It's sort of punk played with acoustic instruments. It's very interesting. I mean, I've not heard a band kind of sound like it, really, before, or since. So great stuff here. Very, it doesn't sound like a 1984 album, at all. So this is the album Hallowed Ground here. A very good record here by Violet Femmes. Okay, and now I've got a couple of hangovers from Record Store Day here to show. These were ones that I bought down in New Mills. Like, there's a really good shop like in New Mills, like which like I visited like on record store day. Long story, won't get into why I ended up like having to go, why I ended up like going down to New Mills like on record store day. But anyway, I found myself there, and they had like a high street sort of bookshop like a record store, and it's pretty good. I mean, I have heard I think Rob Walker's talked about it before and kind of recommended it to be like a person. Really good shop, actually, to be fair. Very much a kind of like hidden gem. And I got a few bits and pieces, all very, very, very reasonably priced, I thought. So I'll firstly show this, which is this 12-inch single, the Weather Prophets here. Great jangle band. I like want to say from Wigan, like, but I don't think they are from Wigan, actually. I think these might be from down south. But this is a great song called She Comes From the Rain. What a song. Fantastic, fantastic track. 1987 on that one there. And then I got a couple of 7-inch singles from there as well. So I got this World Party one here, song Ship of Fools, fantastic track. It's this kind of good sort of gatefold artwork there, which is really nice. That was like £1, I think. This one £1.50, Deacon Blue, Queen of the New Year. Again, it's one of these kind of gatefold singles, which must have been all the rage in kind of 1989 there. And yeah, really good song. Again, this Delamici one here, which is a Kiss This Thing Goodbye, fantastic track from the Waking Hours album there. And then this last one here, which was in the 50p bin, which is Joe Jackson and Stepping Out here, fantastic track, very iconic song, 1983 or 2, I think, of this year, 1982 on this one, Joe Jackson, Stepping Out. And then also from that same shop in New Mills, I picked up this, which was New Order and their debut single Ceremony here. Now, I'm not sure if this is an early pressing or repressing or what have you, because there's been so many different kind of artwork variations of this, different colours, etc. So I'm not sure like what sort of version this is, but this was a gap like in my New Order collection. I've got pretty much everything aside from this, like even kind of singles wise. So yeah, getting like this, like their first single, quite like an important release here. And then also when I was down in kind of Manchester for sort of like record store day, I think this might have been like the Sunday after possibly, like me and my granddad went to a car boot sale, which always is a bit hit and miss for records, but this one wasn't too bad. They had a good seller there who had a lot of good stuff, quite cheap, but again, I just spent quite a bit of money like on record store day. Wasn't really like in the mood for buying records, but I think I got this for £3. I think I paid for this, which I could not pass up. This well-respected Kinks compilation here. Didn't need it. There's nothing unique on here as far as I'm aware, but it's just a nice release. It's in lovely condition. I think it's an original. It's got all the flip backs on it, and it's got it's kind of write-ups that go off like the band members, and just even just for the artwork and just to have it, I thought like was quite a nice release here from the Kinks. 1966 this was originally released. Okay, and then these next couple here were bought on the Monday after record store day, so this is all from one weekend, so very expensive weekend, it has to be said. But I went to Liverpool for the day, and I've not been to the Liverpool record shops like in a while, so again I did pretty good here for the most part. So first shop I went in was Dig Vinyl on kind of sort of city centre like of like Liverpool. They always have good stuff, but it's always quite pricey in there, I find. But at the same time, the stuff is always in excellent condition. But unfortunately this time, like, I wasn't finding like anything like I really wanted. But I did see this, and this was a complete blind buy. And I'm not sure like if anyone else like out there like has heard of them, but it's The Claim. And I just seen this cover here, and I thought they look like a band that I might enjoy. They kind of got a sort of House Martin Smiths kind of look to them. And like, I kind of thought with this, I'll give it a go and see what I think. I'd looked it up like on Discogs. It was kind of one of these. It's 1988 original. There, it's kind of like one pressing and done sort of thing with this. Like they've not been like kind of reissued like or anything. So very much kind of forgotten band like from like the late 80s there, 1988. And this is a very good album. It's called Boomy Teller. I think this is maybe their second album. They might have had one before this, and this is very good and basically sounded like exactly like I thought it would. Very Smithsy, quite House Martinsy as well, in terms of it's maybe a bit more poppy than the Smiths, perhaps a bit more kind of certainly maybe doesn't have Morris's same lyrical prowess, but if you're into your 80s indie, The Claim, a really good underrated band, I think, worth checking out there. And then from another record shop in the city centre, this one is 81 Renshaw Street, I think it's called. And again, they do have a big store. It's quite a big shop, but again, it's a bit hit and miss, I find. But I did find this here, which is an album that I've been looking for like a little while now. It's the Boo Radleys here. Wake Up is the name of the album here. Boo Radleys are a really interesting band. Again, I think they're like a Liverpool band. But they kind of started out as a kind of shoegaze band, and then sort of by this point they were essentially working in the kind of Britpop sort of like area. So this is 95, and yeah, this is very Britpop, like this album. Maybe a bit bandwagon jumping, you know. Again, everyone would know the song Wake Up Boo, I think. It's a kind of Britpop kind of classic. But other than that, it is a really strong album here, like I think. And this is a great pressing of it, a music on vinyl pressing there, which, you know, that is a real mark of quality, like with like a record there, like music on vinyl. So, no, like this was good. And like, again, it's getting maybe a little bit more tricky to find. It's certainly like not available like on like Amazon, like, or like anywhere like anymore, this album, like on like this particular like reissue of it. So yeah, was very happy to pick this up. So then also that same day, I then took a trip over the Mersey to Birkenhead, where there was a record shop, like a new one for me called Skeleton Records like that, like I've never been to before. And again, a really good shop, quite big as well, you know, like they essentially I got two massive rooms like a records, and it's yeah, quite again like quite like a sort of like intimidating shop, you know, just because there's so much stuff. But yeah, like again, like I kind of flicked through most of the 12-inch. Wasn't seeing like anything like I was too crazy about, aside from this, which I seen for a very good price, which was the Laid album here by James. Now this is just a reissue of it, but even the reissues of this are going for like sort of like 40, 50 pounds. This one I think they had maybe for 25 or 30 pounds, so yeah, kind of probably the price that like you probably should be paying for like a new reissue of it. And this is a great record. Can't really say if it's my favourite James album, but there's a couple of excellent tracks on here. I think the second track, Sometimes, like Lester Piggott, is just fantastic. Yeah, like yeah, it was the first time like I heard it, like when like I played like this record, and it's just like, yeah, like what a song that is. So yeah, no, definitely an album and a band I do need to keep giving a bit more time to James there, because I don't know this stuff 100% too well, but no, great band and great album there, 1993 that one's from. But the main attraction with this shop though was their singles, and specifically just the number and the kind of price of them as well. All these were about £2 or £3, and a couple of them, like a couple of the first ones here, were really kind of like eye-opening ones, and were like, oh, I've never seen those before. So again, I got a couple of Delamici ones here, which again, these are from like their not the second album, their third album, Change Everything. So it was these ones here. So I got Always the Last to Know, which I've never seen before, and these are all kind of early 90s, so not super duper common. When You're Young here, fantastic song. And again, Just Like a Man here. So yeah, you know, I'd never seen like any of those before, so I was very glad to pick those up. Also seen a copy there of Nothing Ever Happens. A bit more common, this one here, like I suppose it was their biggest hit, this one, but yeah, another excellent single. And then got a few other bits and bobs as well. So I got this Talk single, and this is Living in Another World here, with a great B-side called For What It's Worth, like on the back of it there, not on the like the Colour of Spring album. And then got this Prefab Sprout one here, which again, I got on a 12-inch but not a 7-inch. This is Nightingales here, and this has got a couple, yeah, B-sides, or just their early singles, like Lines in My Own Garden, but it's a nice kind of gatefold single here. Just sort of talks about, yeah, their early years, which for some reason they decided to put on the back of this. I suppose by this point, from like Langley Pot to Memphis album, they probably ran out like of B-sides, because this was something like the 5th or 6th single from it. So yeah, no, good song there, Nightingale. So I got a couple of singles here by The Big Dish, an underrated Scottish band, again, sort of like mid-80s kind of thing. So this is the song European Rain there, and this is the song Faith Healer here. So yeah, Big Dish, quite like them. Yeah, like pretty good like 80s band. And then this one here by The Lightning Seeds, one of the great kind of, yeah, like late 80s songs, Pure there. And this, I just played this one actually. It's got a brilliant B-side called Fools, which yeah, almost like should have been like on like that album, like Cloud Cuckoo Land, because it's a fantastic song. And I've also just noticed with this as well that this has got a misprint on it, so it's actually got the B-side label on both sides, and then someone, a previous owner of this, has then wrote side A, like on the side that actually does have pure, like a pure like on it. Like I didn't actually notice that like when I played it, so yeah, I mean that might be a rare misprint, I'm not sure. Okay, and then I've got a couple here from a shop in Linlithgow, Lowport Music, really good local record shop. Yeah, again, he's got fantastic stock in, and yeah, like I got a couple of things here. So I got this one, which is a Boo Howardine album here. He was in a band called The Bible in the kind of like the 80s, and I got one of his solo albums which I absolutely loved, and this is another one of them, or rather it's a kind of collaboration with a guy called Jordan Smith here, and they both kind of take turns like on like the lead vocals. That's them both like on like the back of it there. Really good, kind of yeah, easy, yeah, quite easy going, like easy listening album, quite acoustic, folky sort of like record. But no, really good songs I think like on here. So yeah, solid album there from 1989. And then also from Lowport Music picked up this single here, which is an Oasis single for Go Let It Out. Now I specifically got this one, I get a couple like off like Oasis ones, but I got this one specifically because this has got my friend Ollie's favourite, I think it's his favourite ever Oasis song on the B-side called Let's All Make Believe. So just for that alone, I paid the £25 like that this one cost me. I mean, yeah, like all Oasis singles do go for quite a bit of money, but was yeah just very happy to get this one here with a yeah awesome B-side on it. And then talk about Ollie, he actually yeah like as I mentioned earlier, came up to Edinburgh to visit for like the day. We went to like a record fair and some of the record shops like in Edinburgh, and like had a really great day, both of us I think. So yeah, like I'll just go through the stuff I got from the record fair. Again, this is the one that is at Edinburgh University, and it's good. It's certainly not anything like the big one like through in Glasgow, but there's maybe about say 5 or 6 different sellers there, and I always come away with something like I'll say that. So I got a couple of singles again. So I got this one, which is a Bluebells one. This was £3, but it's a signed copy of the song Sugar Brides here, and it's signed. I think it must be it's on the inside here. So it's kind of really interesting packaging. It's got like kind of sort of triple gatefold there for like a single, and then all the singles, and I think there's maybe 2 singles in there, they come out of there, so it was only £3 for that, but it's actually signed like that, like the band. So I think you can make out like Bobby Bluebell's signature there, and then a couple of the other members like as well. So yeah, like that's quite a cool wee item. And then also got this one here by Teenage Fan Club, which again I never really see their singles kicking about much. This is for the song Radio, 1993 on Creation. I don't know much about this song. Was this on any of their albums? Might have been on 13 possibly, I'm not sure, but yeah, again, you rarely see Teenage Fan Club singles, so I thought that I would pick that one up. And then I got a couple of Jam singles as well. Again, both of these were a £5 each, and again, you rarely see Jam singles going like that cheap normally, especially these early ones. They do sort of like jack the prices up quite a bit, and I think I'm always complete like on like the Jam singles. I think there's maybe only 2 more I need to get, possibly, because I've now got News of the World here. Fantastic sleeve on it there, not so fantastic B-sides, it has to be said, and then this one, which is for A-Bomb in Wardour Street and David Watts on it like as well. So again, slowly but surely getting all of the Jam singles there. And then I think in my last vinyl update video I showed a Lindisfarne greatest hits collection, and I think I did say this'll do me like I'm happy now sort of thing, but I did see this like at the record fair, £10, and it's a lovely original pressing of their debut album called Nicely Out of Tune, and I think this is quite a rare-ish copy of it, specifically because of the sleeve, because of the kind of like the Charisma label, which was this kind of scroll before they changed to the famous Charisma Mad Hatter label. So that's kind of what sort of like differentiates like an early pressing of it. So I thought for that, like yeah, like I'll get it. And it's a really good album, very strong record, probably their best album overall. But like yeah, like a lot of great songs in there, like Lady Eleanor, Winter Song, We Can Swing Together. Yeah, a lot of great tracks on there. So yeah, great album here from I think 1970 I want to say. So yeah, that's Linda Spawn and Nicely Out of Tune. Also going quite cheap as well. This was £7 actually for this, which again you rarely see Stone Roses singles going for £7. But this is the song One Love. Must say, not one of my favourite Roses songs, but again a gap like in my collection like that I was missing. And this has also got a little kind of poster insert with it as well, which is basically just the album cover, so nothing much to write home about there. But no, another good one to add to the Stone Roses collection. And I picked up a couple of these singles here from, this was from Vinyl Villains now we moved on to, and these are just these are just in the 12-inch singles bin. A couple of singles by Micro Disney. Again, I've got a couple of their albums now and really like them. Kind of Irish, kind of mid 80s, sort of like alternative rock sort of band. This is a single called In the World. Or actually, I'm just looking at like the back of it now, and I think it's actually maybe it's just an EP called In the World, and then the tracks are all different. It's a song called Loft Holdings Word and Teddy Dogs and 464 like on the track. So I haven't played this yet, so I don't actually can't tell you like if like this is like any good. There's a wee picture of them like on the back, and then this is another one of their singles for a song called Dolly here. I think maybe from their debut album, and again it's a good cover list because it like close up it looks like absolutely nothing, but actually I'm just looking at it like I'm just like looking like on like my screen and like didn't realise you could actually make out like the band there, so that's pretty cool. So that's the song Dolly there by Micro Disney. Next one here, another one which was a bit of a blind buy actually, but when I say blind buy, I kind of heard of this band's name kicking about as kind of a good sort of like indie rock sort of band or like indie pop band like from kind of like the late 80s. So when I seen this album, I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot, and I'm so glad I did because I absolutely loved it. It's 10,000 Maniacs, and the album is In My Tribe, and this is brilliant. It's just a great record like throughout really. Natalie Merchant's like the singer, and she's just got an incredible voice, very emotive but very easy on the ear as well. It's just like it's a voice like butter kind of thing, and the songs in it are just great. I mean, the first couple are brilliant. Like What's the Matter Here is just a brilliant song, and it's so catchy as well, but when you actually listen to like the lyrics, so dark as well, it's just a very clever song. Hey Jack Kerouac's great fun. Like the Weather's track 3, just what an album here. So really like enjoyed this. So 1987 on this one here, Elektra Records. Okay, and I'll just finish up, I've got a couple of items from like a recent holiday I had over in New York. Record shopping wasn't the main thing on the agenda, but we did go in a couple of record shops, and again, I was quite selective with what I got, but I think I came away with some really good finds and stuff which I would probably struggle to actually get over here, like in the UK. Certainly for these first two items here, which were both bought in rough trade in New York, and rough trade usually is all just new stuff. Again, like the UK at least it is, but in the New York store, they had kind of a second store called Rough Trade Below or Rough Trade Beneath or something like that, which was all the used stuff. And so I went straight there, and I got two really great finds here. So they're both by the same band, and they're both albums by the Raspberries here. So I got their debut album, which is Raspberries, and then their second album called Fresh Raspberries. Now, Raspberries are a really influential kind of power pop band, I'd say, led by Eric Carmen, who would go on to have quite a successful solo career. But Raspberries were kind of where he sort of started out, and they are a fantastic group. Again, the American band, but very much in that kind of Big Star kind of frame. Maybe a bit more poppy than Big Star, but they definitely have this big influence on a lot of new wave acts and kind of the 80s alternative things like that, were coming through, REM, etc. So this first one here, in particular, I want to talk about a bit, or show at least, because this is a great original pressing of the debut from 1970 or 71. And this has got this sticker on it that is a scratch and sniff sticker, And believe it or not, it does actually still smell like raspberries, this. Like, it, yeah, all the way from 1970, and the sticker has retained its smell. So, yeah, fantastic stuff there. Fantastic stuff there by the raspberries. And then this second album here is equally good. I don't like the cover, like, as much on this, though. It makes them look very, kind of like Bay City Roller, kind of like Osmond, kind of like adjacent. But trust me, they're not. They actually are a really great band. Particularly, yeah, the opening track on this, like, I Want to Be With You, is a fantastic track. One of the best tracks from like the early 70s there for me. So, a couple of great albums here, but by the Raspberries. And all the next records now were all bought at a flea market in Brooklyn, which was one of these. Like, they had about, I think, 4 sellers selling records, and it just sort of like each seller kind of got better and better stuff, like, as it went on. So kind of like if like you kind of if you tried to budget, it was just completely pointless, like exercise really. So I did come away with quite a bit of stuff there, and I have to be said. So I got this one here, which is the first one I'd see, which is this Elvis Costello album, Armed Forces here, which I've got already, but this is the alternative US cover. So just for that, I decided to pick it up here. Of course, that's what it was on the UK version, and I think this also has got What's So Funny About Peace, Love and Understanding as the closer, whereas I think there's maybe 1 or 2 like other tracks sort of. I think Sunday's Best was taken off the US album. So yeah, nice to get that one here. Just like an alternative copy of that. And they're sticking with Costello, and they also had a copy of this, which is The Only Flame in Town here, from the Goodbye Cruel World album. And again, this is a US copy, so this was like this had like a different cover, like in like the UK. But I probably do prefer like this US cover, like of it. Like, actually, I think that's quite a nice cover there. And then this is one that I was definitely not expecting to see like at a flea market, like in Brooklyn. But it's this, which is by the Dainties, Martin Stevenson, and the Dainties, a kind of Newcastle-based singer-songwriter on Kitchenware Records here, 1984. I think this is maybe like their debut single here. It's called Roll Along Summertime. Great wee track. But yeah, very much not something like you would expect to see at all, like in like America there. So no, that's a good single there by the Dainties. And the next seller along had a couple of really good things as well. The main one that caught my eye was this, which I'd never seen before, which was a Joe Jackson, I'm the Man, but a singles box set. So basically with this, you get the full album on here on 5 7-inch singles. Now this was actually sealed, and so I decided to actually open it up. So I think I paid $30 for this, and which in hindsight I actually looked, and like these are actually a bit more common than you might think, but it is lovely packaging though. Like, each single's got its own kind of picture sleeve like on it there, and then I think they all kind of merge together to sort of make like a bigger image, or certainly one side like off it does there. But this is all really nice, just pictures of Joe and the Joe Jackson band there. And then it also has a poster. So yeah, 5 singles and a poster here. So yeah, I thought that was a really nice wee find there. And then the seller also had this single here, which again I don't think came out in the UK with this particular sleeve, but it's the Beatles here and the Ballad of John and Yoko, with this great sleeve of the Beatles and Yoko like as well. All brown shoe on the B-side, a little bit of branding like on like the bottom, but doesn't affect the sleeve really. And like, again, it's not a single that I've ever seen like in like the UK, so again was like one which was worth picking up, like especially like in America. And then from a different seller, he had a number of really good sort of like albums like sort of like going. So I picked up this one here, which is a Fleetwood Mac album called The Heroes Are Hard to Find here. Now this is from 1974. So I think this was just maybe the one before Buckingham Nicks joined them. So this was very much just as Fleetwood Mac were about to turn into the band that everyone kind of knows them as. So and I really like a couple of the albums from this era. I think Bare Cheese is a great album, and there's another one, Kiln House. I think that's maybe a bit earlier, but early Fleetwood Mac is quite interesting again, just because they were so different. But this has got it's basically got the kind of like the nucleus of like the band like on it. Christine McVie's on it. You got Bob and like you've got like Mick Fleetwood, and you've got John McVie. I always called him like Bob McVie there, but John McVie like on bass, and then you've got Bob Welsh still on guitar and vocals on here. But no, Heroes Are Hard to Find here. Like, again, not played this one yet, but hopefully I will like it. But yeah, very creepy and like very weird cover there though. Then got this album as well by again a US band called the Feelies here. I've heard of these for a while, maybe about a year or two, but I've never seen their stuff like in like the UK. And they've got one album which is the most iconic one. I think it's their debut. It's a blue cover and it's kind of got them as kind of cartoons on it, and that's like the main one like I was wanting. But this is like either like their second or third album, which again I don't think was ever issued like in like the UK, so really had to get it like in like America, like when I had the chance. And this is great stuff. Yeah, quite sort of like good guitar rock really here, the Feelies. And then also seen this here, which I've not seen before either. So I'm now actually complete on the Dexys albums here, Dexys Midnight Runners. This one is the album Don't Stand Me Down here. Now this was a very it was very much a flop, this album, like at the time. Like no one really wanted to know about it. I mean, but they'd also completely like reinvented themselves as well. You know, gone were the kind of dungarees and the kind of like the Come On Eileen, you know. Here was a band who are a lot more kind of serious, and this is an album that I guess divides people. Some people love it and think it's a kind of like underrated masterpiece. Like other people just think that no, like they just weren't the same. I mean, I quite like this album. It's different for sure. It definitely takes a bit of like getting used to, but it's a good record though. And again, it's not one that I have ever seen on vinyl before, and so happy to get this one here. I think it's on Polygram, like Phonogram Records, this one here. Another one here that is quite unique, I guess, and like one that you'd probably struggle to find like in like the UK, like in this particular configuration, is this album, which is the Faces debut album, but in America came out with the title Small Faces, or rather, I think the album is like officially called The First Step, like the first step, like, but like in like the UK it just came out, I think it was Faces, it was pretty down there, but like in like America, and I think with all subsequent like American pressings came out like as the Small Faces, even though I mean this was very much not the Small Faces. Steve Marriott had left, and like the other three members had continued and kind of like got together with like Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood there. They were a great band, the Faces, back in the day. Really underrated group, I think. It's definitely Rod Stewart at his like best, like I would say. I mean, the rest of his material is slightly like insufferable for me, but when he was with the Faces, really couldn't be beaten like as a vocalist and like as like an artist. So fantastic stuff here from 1970, I want to say, on this one here. Good gatefold there, and that is The First Step by Faces. And then last one I'll show for today is one that I've never seen in the UK, and again they just so happen to have like out like this random flea market, which is the Lennon Legend compilation on vinyl. So again, I didn't really need this. I've already got I've got the John Lennon collection, which came out shortly after he died. I've got Shaved Fish, I've got all his albums, but this was the Lennon compilation that my dad had on CD, and it's what kind of was the kind of gateway for me into kind of John Lennon, and was kind of it was one of those that was I was discovering all alongside McCartney, like all the best and like all like the Beatles stuff. So this is an album like in a chat list that I do know rather well, and it is good to get it like on vinyl here. It's in nice condition, this one here. It's not in flawless condition, but I only paid it was maybe about $50-$60 for this, which I've seen go online for like a lot more than that, and he's put them all in these lovely MoFi sleeves there, so it's in really lovely condition, and then they've got all like the original inners with them as well. And it's just a fantastic compilation. And again, I suppose like an apt place to get it, like New York, like as well. Like when we were there, we went to see like the Strawberry Field, like Lennon Memorial. We walked past the Dakota like a few times as well. We just so happened to be walking past it, and that was again quite something to see that. So it was a fantastic trip. Rounded off with some excellent purchases. So no, yeah, I hope you have enjoyed that final update video. So yeah, if there's any of these albums you'd like to see me review, please do let me know. Like, I think, yeah, like with my reviews, I probably do need to get a bit more regular with them. So maybe like if I get like some requests, that might be a bit of a kind of like sort of like kick to get me sort of like making the videos like again, like all like a bit more regularly, like I suppose. But no, I hope you have enjoyed the update, and yep, I'll see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.